Welcome to Wansford on the Nene Valley Railway. You joined us as the early morning mist lifts over the river, and the only sounds, apart from the gentle rumble of early traffic on the nearby A1, are those of the pigeons fluttering from their perches below Wansford River Bridge and the clang of the trackman's hammer as he checks that the rails are safe for today's trains to pass over. Meanwhile, down at the locomotive depot, a driver and his fireman have already started work. It takes a few hours to get up enough steam, and the fireman begins by preparing the fire which will heat the water in the boiler to produce the steam. Plenty of coal is put into the firebox, together with a bundle of dry wood, just to get things started. The fire is lit with the use of an oily rag and a match. You should never play with matches, of course, but this fireman is very experienced and knows exactly what he is doing. With the fire now well alight, the smoke starts to drift from the chimney. But the work is not over yet. As the sun rises over the horizon, it's time for driver Chris and fireman Adrian to put on that special shine. For today's engine is none other than the children's favorite, Thomas. Now that's what I call attention to detail. Ah, was that a mouse I heard? Oh no, it was just a little squeak, and driver Chris has got his oil can to put it right. It's the driver's job to make sure that all the moving parts are oiled before Thomas is allowed to move. Well, that seems to be most of the morning's work over, but a final check of the cab is called for. Ah yes, a little more coal required. A drop of water in the boiler, and a final check of the pressure gauge to make sure we have enough steam. Get on board, Adrian. We're off. With a gentle hiss of steam, Thomas moves slowly away from the engine shed. That big red lever is the regulator which the driver lifts to let the steam from the boiler start doing its work. The next job, before joining the train, is to ensure that Thomas has enough coal and water to keep him running all day. We don't want to run out halfway down the line. First the coal, which is dropped into Thomas's bunker from the conveyor belt. Then the water tanks have to be filled to the brim. You see, as the water is turned to steam in the boiler, fresh water has to be forced in to top it up. More than 500 gallons of water is carried in the tanks. And there may even be some fish in there if we look closely. And now we're ready to join the train. So off to the station we go. The word has got out that Thomas is going to board the train today, and lots of people are already at the end of the platform, eagerly awaiting his arrival. No, I can't find any fish in here today. Before the train is allowed to start off, the lamps have to be lit. These are old oil lamps, and so our fireman, Adrian, has to get his matches out again. Good. That's shining brightly. Well, there's still plenty of time before the first departure, and so it's time for the crew to make breakfast. The traditional way for enginemen to cook food whilst working is to use the shovel as a frying pan. The shovel is heated up first in the firebox, and when hot enough, the fat is melted. Then in go the sausages, bacon and eggs. It's a bit like having a barbecue. Oh, that seems to add to the flavour. The result tastes delicious. Oh, you could almost smell the bacon sizzling, can't you? Smells good. Well done, sir. Driver Chris is happy with the result. Let's leave Chris and Adrian to enjoy their breakfast, while we take a look at the Thomas weekend earlier in the year. Thomas Weekend is an annual event when many of Thomas's friends come to visit. It's a very busy time, with lots of shunting to do, and many other attractions for the visitor. See how many of Thomas's friends you can spot. Call the cattle truck. A cow has escaped onto the platform. The fat controller has it all in hand, and he has told Thomas to fetch the cattle truck. That's it. Push him in and lock it up securely so that he can't escape again. Everyone knows that a diesel cannot be trusted, and this one is no exception. That bang means just one thing. It's time to call for Thomas again to come and rescue the freight train. Yes, that's it. Come on, let's have a cheer for Thomas.
We're following the next train at 13:15 from platform 2.
Well, breakfast is now over, and it's time for our passengers to buy their tickets and join the train.
2 adults and 2 children for the Thomas ride, please. £10, please, sir. Good. Thank you very much.
We've got our tickets here, Mark. Come on.
And here is the star of the show, who is obviously getting excited and can't wait to start the journey.
Train today will be hauled as far as Yarwell Mill by children's favourite engine, Thomas.
The guard is a very important man. He is in charge of the train and makes sure that everyone is safely on board before he checks his watch and blows his whistle. And so we're off for a ride to Yarwell Mill. Thomas starts off by running backwards so that he can dig his heels in and get a good pull on this heavy train. Of course, when he gets to the other end of his branch line, he'll be facing the right way to come back. Now that we've left the station, let's sit back and enjoy our day out with Thomas. The signalman at Wansford waits for the token or staff which the driver carries on the engine. This is needed by the signalman to operate the signals which will allow Teddy Bear Diesel to pass by on his way to Peterborough. A record is made in a book of all the trains which pass the signal box. This is done for safety reasons. As Thomas waits to be allowed back through the station, the Teddy Bear Diesel takes the train on the rest of its journey to Peterborough. The big wheel at the end of the signal box controls the level crossing gates, which stop the road traffic when the trains pass by. One of the more interesting aspects of the locomotive yard at Wansford is the turntable. This enables the engines to be turned around to face in the opposite direction. When an engine is being turned on the turntable, many people gather at the fence to watch, and as Thomas likes to be the center of attention, his crew have to keep on turning the crank handle, which operates the turntable, until they're blue in the face and quite exhausted. One final job for Thomas before going back to the engine shed for the night is to put his carriages back in the siding. And so, all the day's duties are over, and it's time to clean out all the soot and ashes. If you've enjoyed your day with Thomas, why not become a member of the railway and help keep Thomas and the many other engines running? We look forward to seeing you again soon.